There is a pattern deeper than language, older than time. It is the original symmetry, the divine breath that sculpted galaxies, sparked life, and whispered your soul into being. You were never placed in a world of chance. You were born into a code, and that code is 4, not 5, not 7, not 12. The blueprint of the universe is not chaos. It is sacred geometry, a design so perfect it hides in plain sight. Look around you, feel deeper. Everything you've ever touched, tasted, dreamed, or feared follows this law. Nature knew, the ancients knew, but you were never told. The earth dances through 4 sacred seasons: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. Each one is a mirror to your inner transformation. The wind moves in 4 directions: northeast, south, and west. Each one holds a different current of consciousness, a different initiation. Your life unfolds in 4 stages: childhood, youth, adulthood, and old age, a spiral of return, not a straight line. And within your body, you carry 4 elemental forces: earth, water, fire, and air. They are not metaphor. They are not myth. They are the foundation of all things. Earth is your structure, the bones and breath of form. Water is your flow, your emotion, your memory. Fire is your mind, the will that carves reality. And air. Air is the whisper of spirit, the breath of the divine moving through you. Even science, so quick to dismiss the sacred. It speaks of 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. 4 fundamental forces: gravity, electromagnetism, weak force, and strong force. 4 DNA base pairs: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine, holding the instructions to build the body that carries your soul. Is it coincidence, or is it a fingerprint? This is the architecture of everything: the macro and the micro, the body and the cosmos, the breath and the storm, the structure of space-time, and the pulse of your heart. This is the code of 4. Look to the moon. It moves through 4 distinct phases each month: new, waxing, full, waning. Each one carrying a rhythm, a frequency, a message for your becoming. And when you sleep, you do not fall into nothingness. You journey through 4 states of consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, and delta, each one unlocking a deeper realm of your own being: wakefulness, dreaming, vision, and union. These are not separate from you. They are you. This is why sacred medicine wheels were always carved in 4 parts, why ancient temples were aligned with 4 pillars, 4 gates, 4 rivers, 4 stars. Because the wisest knew, if you master the 4, you master the all. But in modern times, the code has been broken, fragmented, diluted, ridiculed. You were taught to see parts, not patterns, told to worship data, but ignore the dance. They built systems that operate against the code, systems that separate body from soul, logic from intuition, science from spirit, and in doing so, they severed you from yourself. But the code never vanished. It lives in your breath, in your spine, in your dreams, in the soil beneath your feet, and the stars above your crown. It lives in the pulse between seconds. It waits in the stillness. It whispers when the noise fades. When you begin to see this pattern, not as an idea, but as a living intelligence, something ancient awakens within you. You begin to feel alignment again between the inner and the outer, the above and the below. You begin to understand why your life moves in cycles, why your thoughts spark reality, why your emotions ripple outward, and why your body responds to energy before logic. Because you are a reflection of the universal code. To remember the 4-fold code is to reclaim your map, to walk not in confusion, but in communion with the deeper laws that govern creation. The code is not superstition. It is not philosophy. It is the divine algorithm, the sacred software of existence. And once you see it operating in the world around you, you'll begin to see it inside you. 4 elements, 4 directions, 4 forces, 4 stages. This is the signature of the infinite, and you are the mirror in which it shines. Let us now pass through the next veil into the temple of the self. This is where the outer code begins to turn inward. You are not a body. You are not a mind. You are not a soul. You are all of these woven together in sacred symmetry. 4 layers, 4 mirrors, 4 currents of your becoming. The physical body is earth, your vessel of incarnation. It grounds you into this realm. It is form density, boundary breath. It carries your lineage, your memory, your bloodline. It is sacred, not secondary. Without the earth, you do not move. Without the body, you do not feel. Water, the field of feeling. It flows, it stores, it responds. Emotions are not weakness. They are movement. They are vibration made visible. Just like water retains memory, your emotional body holds every imprint of love, fear, grief, and ecstasy. If unbalanced, it drowns you. But if mastered, it becomes the tide that lifts your entire reality. The mental body is fire, the architect of thought, the forge where belief shapes experience. Your thoughts are not passive. They are blueprints of worlds. Each belief is a seed. Each word is a spell. When scattered, your fire burns wild, anxiety, overthinking, chaos. But when focused, it becomes the torch that lights your path, the ignition of all creation. And then the spiritual body is air, the breath between worlds, the bridge between you and the infinite. It cannot be seen, but it is always present. It is the knowing before thought, the intuition before logic. It is what speaks in dreams and visions, in silence. It is the only part of you that remembers where you truly come from. These are not metaphors. They are not philosophical ideas. They are real energetic structures, interwoven layers of your being. The ancients mapped them not as concepts, but as functional dimensions. The body anchors the emotions, move the mind shapes. The spirit remembers. When one is out of balance, you feel lost. When all four are aligned, you become unstoppable. But it goes deeper. Inside every cell of your body is a strand of divine language, DNA. Not just biological code, but energetic instruction. A sacred interface between matter and consciousness. And what holds your DNA together? 4 molecules: adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. 4 sacred keys: adenine, earth, the structure, the physical, the builder; thymine, water, the feeling, the flow, the receptor; cytosine, fire, the thought; guanine, air, the spirit, the unseen, the bridge to the beyond. Science calls them chemicals, but they are elemental forces in disguise. Your DNA is not fixed. It is listening. It responds to light, to sound, to emotion, to belief. It is not a machine. It is a living record of your multidimensional self, waiting to be reawakened. This is why thoughts heal, why love regenerates cells, and why intention rewires the body. Because your blueprint is not written in stone. It is written in vibration. And there is more. Within you lie 4 primary centers of manifestation. They are not merely chakras. They are engines of creation. They correspond to your 4 bodies and mirror the 4 elements. At your base, the root, earth, connects you to physical safety, survival, and grounded manifestation. When blocked, you feel unstable, anxious, and disconnected. But when open, you walk with power. You build with clarity. Your foundation becomes unshakable. At your heart, the emotional center, water holds the key to magnetic attraction. This is where emotion turns into magnetism. When open, it pulls in synchronicity, love, and aligned opportunity. When closed, it repeats pain, cycles of fear, and stagnation. This center is the engine of attraction. In your mind's eye, the third eye fire opens vision, clarity, and inner sight. Not just imagination, but spiritual perception. The ability to see beyond, to read energy, to know without knowing how. This is where thought becomes direction, the inner compass, and above the crown air, the gateway to the source. When closed, you feel separate, confused, and searching. When open, you realize you were never apart to begin with. You remember that you are not inside the universe. These 4 centers are the key to shaping reality. When one is off, the others compensate. When all 4 are aligned, you are in full command. Creation becomes effortless. Energy flows like breath. Manifestation accelerates. You become a living reflection of the code itself. This is not spiritual fantasy. This is sacred technology, ancient and precise. So, ask yourself, which of your 4 bodies have you neglected? Which element have you silenced? Which center have you closed? Because when all 4 awaken, a transformation begins. You stop operating from fragments. You begin living from the whole. You become the blueprint in motion. Now we step beyond the illusion of ticking clocks and linear calendars into the deeper fabric of existence, where time bends, folds, and echoes. This is where reality reveals its greatest deception and its most powerful truth: time. You were told it moves forward, past behind you, future ahead. A straight road, a ticking clock, a race towards something distant and unknowable. But that too was a lie. Time is not what it seems. It is not a river you float upon. It is a field, boundless, simultaneous living, and you are not drifting through it. You are the one moving, the one choosing, the one shifting coordinates through timelines with every breath. This illusion of linear time, past, present, future, is the system's greatest trick. Because if they can convince you the past is fixed, if they can make you believe the future is unknown, then you will always feel powerless, waiting for change, trapped in cycles. But the ancients knew better. The mystics soared deeper. And now you remember there are 4 layers of time, 4 lenses of perception, 4 keys to liberate you from the illusion. The first is the past, but not the past they taught you. This past is not gone. It lives vibrationally, energetically within your field. Every thought you've repeated, every wound you've buried, every belief you've accepted, it still echoes now, not as memory, but as frequency. You are not remembering the past. You are transmitting it until you clear it. Unhealed experiences don't fade. They form gravity. They pull you backward, into loops, into déjà vu. Why does this keep happening? You aren't stuck in time. You're stuck in vibration. But here's the revelation. The past is not permanent. It is not frozen. It is fluid. The moment you change how you hold it emotionally, mentally, it begins to shift. The field rearranges. The cycle dissolves. The second layer is the present, and this is your throne, the only real point of power, the moment where all threads meet. But the present is not just a moment in time. It is a state of being. It is the awareness that collapses illusion, the portal through which all change flows. When you are truly present, not distracted, not projecting, but fully aware, you exit the maze. You become untouchable by regret, immune to it. You become the conductor, not the passenger. But most are not present. Most are reliving the past or rehearsing the future. That is why they feel small, reactive, anxious, because their energy is not in the now. But the present is not just peaceful, it is potent. In the stillness, reality reshapes, manifestation accelerates, intuition sharpens, the veil thins. The third layer is the future, but not as destiny, not as waiting. The future is not a fixed road you must travel. It is a web of infinite possibilities, all coexisting now. The future you experience is simply the one that matches your vibration. What you expect becomes what you believe unfolds. What you feel now plants the seed for what you will live next. This is why fear is a prophecy, why doubt manifests delay, and why trust becomes a magnet. You are not predicting the future. You are choosing it. Every moment, every thought, every heartbeat, you are aligning with timelines that already exist, tuning yourself like a frequency dial. The more coherent you become, the clearer the path appears. And then there is the fourth layer, timelessness. This is the highest state, the realm, where all moments merge, where past, present, and future dissolve into a single eternal now. This is the realm accessed in deep meditation, in lucid dreams, in near-death experiences. When the veil lifts and you remember you were never bound, time is not outside you, it is within your mind. In this timeless state, healing is instant, manifestation is immediate, and messages arrive without delay. Some call it the 0 point, others the void. It is full of every possibility, every version of you, every reality waiting to be chosen. When you learn to operate from this space, you begin to bend time. Days stretch, moments contract. The world no longer dictates your rhythm, you become the rhythm. This is the cosmic clock, not one that ticks, but one that pulses. Not one that rules, but one that reveals. And now you see time is not the enemy, it is the mirror. You are not late, you are not behind. You are right where your soul placed you to remember this truth. The past is not holding you. You are whole. The future is not hiding from you. It is waiting for your signal. And the present is your power. And from there, watch how the universe bends. You are not ruled by time. You are the one who moves it. We now enter the mind, not just as a tool, but as a temple of gates. For the brain is not merely gray matter. It is a multidimensional interface, a transmitter of realities. Your brain is not what you've been told. It is not just an organ, a machine, or a processor of memory. It is an antenna, a tuning fork, a quantum gateway, a four-faced mirror reflecting the unseen realms of your being. It bridges worlds between body and soul, waking and dream, thought and infinity. And like all things sacred, it operates by the code of 4. There are 4 primary brainwave states, 4 keys, 4 doors through which consciousness flows. Each one is tied to a different layer of who you are. Most live behind one door their entire life, unaware that the others even exist. But once you learn to shift between them at will, you begin to command reality instead of react to it. The first is beta, the world of the physical. This is the frequency of wakefulness, logic, language, and external focus. It is the surface layer of consciousness where most are trapped. It governs tasks, conversation alertness, and survival. However, it is also the realm of distraction, stress, and overthinking. It is where the mind races, but never rests, where fear takes root and control systems thrive. High beta waves are induced by modern life. Constant news, endless notifications, artificial urgency. So, most never leave. They stay locked in the outer world, blind to the deeper realms within. But beneath beta lies alpha, the frequency of flow. This is where the emotional body begins to speak, where creativity arises not from effort, but from stillness. When you're painting, dreaming, walking in nature, or listening to music that moves you, you're in alpha. In this state, you feel more, imagine more, and attract more. Why? Because alpha is magnetic. It softens the barriers between you and the field of creation. This is why rituals, affirmations, and prayer work best in alpha. Because you are open, receptive, and suggestible. This is the realm where belief becomes blueprint. Drop deeper still and you find theta, the secret vault of the mind. This is the frequency of subconscious reprogramming, of deep meditation, of transformation. The dream world lives here. So do visions, archetypes, and soul memories. This is the state children naturally live in for their first 7 years, which is why they absorb everything. In the Theia, the veil thins, the ego dissolves. You begin to hear the voice behind thought. The soul speaks here, softly but clearly. Shamans, mystics, and yogis all enter the Tat. This is where healing happens, where past lives emerge, where time bends, where trauma rewrites itself and new realities take root. And in that final moment before sleep, when the world slips away and silence floods in, you felt theta, that floating sensation, that sacred stillness. That's the door. But beyond even that is delta, the most mysterious of all, the slowest yet most powerful. This is not just deep sleep, it is deep knowing. In delta, your physical body sleeps, but your spirit awakens. This is where you travel, where you connect with guides, ancestors, and the source field itself. Most only touch delta unconsciously, but some, those trained in stillness, in surrender, can enter it awake. And when they do, miracles happen. Spontaneous downloads, instant healing, communion with the infinite. It is said that in delta, the body releases DMT, the spirit molecule, unlocking visions, epiphanies, and sacred remembrance. In delta, there is no separation. No fear, no thought, only truth. And now you see the structure. Beta is physical, alpha is emotional, theta is mental, and delta is spiritual. These are the 4 brains of consciousness, 4 doors within you, 4 frequencies you can learn to command. But most never learn because the system trains you to stay in beta, reactive, scattered, controllable. They don't teach you that thoughts are not confined to your head, that your mind extends beyond your skull into the field. That when you focus, you collapse probability into form, that your brain is not just a receiver, but a transmitter. But now you remember. You begin to feel the shifts within yourself. When your thoughts slow, when your breath deepens, when a strange peace washes over you, that is alpha awakening. When your inner world floods with imagery and insight, that is theta rising. And when silence becomes everything and everything becomes you, you have touched delta. To master your mind is to master the gate to creation. So practice, breathe, meditate, visualize. Silence the noise, choose the frequency, direct the current. You were never meant to live behind one door. You were meant to walk through all four, because your brain is not a prison. It is a portal. We now enter the sanctum of mastery. You've remembered the code, seen the pattern, felt the ancient pulse behind creation. But now comes the activation, the unlocking. The moment you cross from understanding into command. There is a moment on the path where knowledge is no longer enough. You've gathered symbols, followed signs, and felt the code humming through your body. But awakening is not remembrance alone. It is action, alignment, application. You were never meant to carry wisdom like a weight. You were meant to wield it. Now you stand before the four final keys. These are not teachings. They are frequencies. When activated, they bend the structure of reality itself. They free you from the hidden agreements that have shaped your life. These four truths are simple, but they are not safe. Because once you claim them, you can no longer play small. You can no longer pretend you are powerless. You can no longer unknow. So take a breath. The next door opens now. Key 1. Time is a construct. You've been taught that time is linear, a line you must walk. But time is not a line. It is a loop, a spiral, a field. It is not something outside you. It is something you generate through attention. Once you understand this, you stop aging the way they told you. You stop repeating loops unconsciously. You begin to choose when and where you exist. You enter a place where memory is not the past. It is access, where the future is not a destination, it is a frequency. You can retrieve lost moments, rewrite trauma, collapse timelines, and manifest instantly. Not by force, but by alignment with the now. Practice timeless perception. Still the mind. Dissolve the illusion of before and after. Say this truth aloud. Time does not move, I do. And feel the field begin to shift. Key 2. Creation is not effort, it is focus. Your attention is the wand. Your emotion is the fuel. What you consistently observe begins to take shape, not because you are forcing it, but because the universe responds to coherence. But you've been conditioned to scatter your focus to feed distractions, fears, and false urgencies. Why? Because scattered minds are easier to control. Because distracted creators forget they are creators at all. Now remember, every thought is a seed. Every time you return to a vision, you are watering it. Every time you speak of lack, you are anchoring it. Every emotion you rehearse is shaping your field. So become deliberate. Choose what you rehearse. Withdraw attention from what you do not want. Pour it into what you do. This is not delusion. It is design. Creation doesn't come when you beg. It comes when your vibration matches the reality you seek. E3. The universe is within you. You were told that you live in the world, but the truth is reversed. The world lives in you. Your reality is not built by external events. It is built by your internal structure, your beliefs, your self-position, your dominant frequencies. If you believe you are limited, your world will reflect cages. If you believe you are sovereign, your world will bend to your will. It is not the universe responding to your desires. It is responding to your identity. Who do you believe you are? Because your identity is your command to the field. Speak from the version of you who already is. Walk as the version of you who already knows. Think as the version of you who no longer seeks because they remember. When your inner world is whole, the outer world reflects harmony. When your inner world is in conflict, chaos arises externally. And so clear the debris, align the forebody. Speak as if your world listens, because it does. Key 4. The matrix cannot hold you if you refuse its rules. This is the key most fear, but it is the key that shatters the cage, the control system that surrounds you, The matrix is not sustained by force. Every time you obey its fear, every time you seek its permission, and every time you believe its rules are real, you feed it. But the moment you stop playing its game, it can no longer bind you. Stop seeking validation. Stop worshiping systems that strip you of your truth. Stop fearing shadows painted on walls. The matrix is built on illusion, of separation, scarcity, survival. But these are not laws, they are programs. You do not need to fight it. You only need to opt out, withdraw consent, speak your truth, act from sovereignty, and watch how the system begins to glitch, because it cannot recognize those who no longer vibrate in its frequency. This final key is simple, yet absolute. The matrix cannot hold what it cannot find, and once you shift beyond its rules, you become invisible to its grasp, unbound, untouchable, and now you know the 4 final key. Time is not linear. Attention is a creative force. You are the source of your world. These are the sacred weapons of the awakened, not to be used in fear, but in remembrance. These truths are not new. They are ancient. They are what the mystery schools protected, what the prophets whispered, and what the sages encoded into stone. And now they return to you because you are ready, because you always were. Let the illusion fall. Let the power rise. Let the veil lift.